Guys, welcome to another episode of the Drama Surgery podcast. I hope you're all having a great week so far. And in this episode, I am actually really excited to cover this 2020 Chinese drama that I really, really like. It's titled Go Ahead, and it's a drama that has a really special place in my heart because I don't know, it just really speaks to me. As you all may know, I have been doing reviews of dramas for almost a year now. It's gonna be about a year in November. And up till now, I struggle with some certain kinds of dramas because they are just very difficult to review because I feel like I just don't have the right words to explain how they make me feel or how or why I liked them, right? So Go Ahead is one of those dramas that is just very difficult because words don't explain how amazing this drama is. And so I just don't do it. I just don't review the drama, right? But I thought that actually it's not fair to this drama. This drama is fantastic. It's one of the best dramas I have ever seen and it deserves a review. So I'm gonna give it a shot. It's one of those dramas that I have yet to see anyone dislike it. Like you might dislike elements in the drama, but the actual story itself is concrete and just well done. And it's just really touching and you just can't help but love it. So Go Ahead is a 2020 Chinese drama that stars a host of people, a lot of people actually. And I'm just going to talk about those that kind of resonate with me because like the list can go on, right? And so I'm just covering those that are important, I felt like, to the story. So not just the main characters, but also like some supporting roles. So to begin with, Tang Song-yu plays Li Jian Jian. Tang Song-yu being 7tan. That's also what people refer to her as. She plays Li Jian Jian. Song Wei-long plays Ling Xiao, and Jiang Xin-cheng, that is Stephen Jiang, plays He Zi Qiu. Then you have Su Song-yan, who plays Li Hai-chao. He's basically playing the father of Li Jian Jian. Then you have Jiang Shilin playing Li Heping, who is playing the father of Ling Xiao. So those 5 people make up the main cast, right? Everybody else from this point on is supporting, but I'm mentioning them just because I feel like they are important to the story. Sun Yi plays Ming Yue, who is Li Jianjian's friend. Eru Xian plays Tang San, another Li Jianjian's friend and roommate. You have An Ge, who plays Zhang Bei. I don't really care for him, but he plays Ezichu's lawyer friend. Then you have Yang Tongshu, who plays Cheng Ting, or Ling Xiao's mom. You also have Yuan Ran, who plays He Mei, that's Zichu's mom. And then you have Amber Song, who plays Qin Mei Ying, who is Ling Xiao's little sister. I'm going to stop there because the list goes on, but those are the core people that I think this drama really is about, right? They really talk about their story and their life more than they do others. And so, yeah, that is the cast of this drama. And basically, this story follows the life of 3 youths, right? Li Jian Jian, Ling Xiao, and He Zi Qiu. And basically the family and, the relationship with the family and their family around them, right? And so the character of Li Jian Jian, played by 7tan, again, fantastic actress in this, she lives with her single dad, right? And she's, I guess, lived with her dad since her mom died. I'm not really sure. I don't recall why or how her mom died, but that's established already in the story, right? And so the mom is dead a while ago already, right? So she lives with her single dad in this apartment complex. And soon enough, a family of 3 moves in. That's Ling Xiao and his parents. It's very clear that there's something going on with Ling Xiao, right? It's clear that that his family unit isn't concrete, it's not tight or anything. It's breaking at the seams, right? The parents fight a lot and stuff like that. And soon enough, right, we find out why. And again, spoilers if you've not seen this drama. But we find out that Ling Xiao's little sister choked to death at home. And it was because Ling Xiao gave her a nut, and for some reason, and not for some reason, the mom locked them in the house, right, when she goes out, which is I'm pretty sure that's illegal in like the West. But she does this, and when the time comes when the little sister is choking. He isn't able to get out and go get help. And the mom blames him for this, right? In a very kind of roundabout way of like removing the guilt from herself, because this is actually her fault. Not that I want to blame someone, but really I can blame the mom because it's really our responsibility to make sure they are okay. And soon after, the mom leaves, right? And you just have Ling Xiao and his dad. And so they become part of Li Jian Jian's family, because Li Jian Jian really liked Ling Xiao from the very beginning, right? But at the same time as that story is going on, you have the story of He Mei and her son, He Zi Qiu. At some point, He Mei and Ling Jian Jian's father, Li Qiao, had a blind date, and they were, considering like being together, right? Since they both had kids and stuff like that. And Li Qiao really liked He Mei, right? And for good reason. She's very beautiful, right? But something happened. We don't know what. I mean, we know why, right? Later. But at that moment, she leaves and kind of leaves He Zi Qiu to fend for himself. And that's the point where Li Qiao kind of takes in He Zi Qiu and raises him. People think it's because he has like this torch for He Mei and he's kind of waiting for her to come back, right? But we can see that he really just bonds with He Zi Qiu, right? And so that's really the three kids that bond and become kind of like this family, right? And it's those three and their parents, the two dads, that kind of make up the main story of this drama. It's a story about the struggles of family relationship and, bonding and things like that. It's very mellow. It's very moving drama though, right? There are moments where I cried so much, and I'm sure a lot of people just like shed a lot of tears, because there are moments that's really, really sad and just downright depressing, at least to me. But there are also moments that are just sweet and just loving and just makes it a pleasant watch, right? So just to talk to why I decided to watch this drama in the first place, I think I saw this on YouTube back when it first aired. I think it aired during the pandemic era, right? And like Chinese dramas were all being put on YouTube, so many of them, just like lots and lots of Chinese dramas came out during the pandemic. So this was one of those dramas, right? And I don't know why I decided to watch it. There's no one I really recognized before I watched this drama, but I was like, I'm just going to check it out. It was one of those dramas I was like, I'll probably not watch more than the first episode and give up. But honestly, I was just drawn in. It was one of the best dramas I had ever seen at that point, right? It really opened my eyes to the depth to which like Chinese dramas can get, because up to that point a lot of the Chinese drama that I'd watched were very kind of childish, had childish characters, and this drama was just worlds apart from those dramas and really opened my eyes to like a different world of Chinese drama, right? That's the point where I think I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go find more of dramas like this. I need to see more of this. And I think that's when I discovered Battle of Changsha, another drama that's very difficult for me to review, but it's a drama I also really, really love. But yeah, the characters really pull you in from the very, very beginning. The character of Li Qiao, playing Li Jian Jian's father, is easily one of the most amazing human being I have ever seen. That's one of the strong points about this drama. They have such a strong character in Li Qiao that he makes this drama just so fantastic to watch, right? Because he's an all-around like good human being, right? Yeah, he has his own desires. For example, he really likes He Mei, right? They don't make him a caricature in that he's all just good and he's just there as kind of like this 2D character that's there to make the kids feel better. No, there are things he also wants for himself, right? He was, I think, the one that kind of pulled me in as I was watching more and more, right? Because I don't know, there's just something about his character that was just so good and so amazing to the rest of the characters that I was like, how is somebody this good of a human being? The only other character I've ever seen that was this amazing and just a good person was the father in To the Moon and Back. The dad of the main character in To the Moon and Back, a Thai drama, is also just a good human being. Like somebody that when you talk about somebody just being a decent person, right, that has goodness in them, that's the character that he best reminds me of. So yeah, I really just wanted to talk about the things I really liked about this drama. And there are not a lot of things I don't like about this drama, maybe one, and I'll talk about it at the end. But to talk about the things I really like about this drama, the very obvious one that's like glaring is just how amazing the relationship between characters are, right? They managed to build such an amazing bond, right? I mean, it takes like just it's not easy to make like a cohesive cast like this and have them act out something like this and have it turn out the way it did in this drama. But this drama manages to do that. Relationship between characters in this, between Li Jian Jian, He Zi Qiu, and Ling Xiao was so good and so amazing that you kind of cannot like insert yourself into this like group, right? They really, really like bonded with each other to the point where nobody was able to break in to that relationship, right? Like when Li Jian Jian's friend, right, tries to kind of get into that group, you see the reaction of He Zi Qiu at some point. I think when they're like having drinks and he's like, "Why did you drink from my cup?" Whereas like Li Jian Jian did it like 2 seconds ago and he was fine with it, right? So it's moments like that that you're like, wow, the relationship between these three is quite amazing, right? And also to extend that to the relationship with the rest of the characters. So the relationship with the dads, for example, the Jian and her dad, their relationship is quite amazing because I mean, it's very easy for her to have felt kind of jealous about just how much her dad was taking care of other people. But Li Jian is a lot like her father as well, in that they're just really good people. They're just like have a lot of goodness in them, right? So Li Jian is never against her dad's behavior because she's a lot like him in that sense, right? And I like that because their bond remains there, even though she has to share him with other people, right? They still have their moments where like you just see that bond between father and daughter that they've been together for all these years, and that's never going to change. The love they have for one another is never going to change. I really like that scene where Li Jian as an adult is looking in to her dad's restaurant and she sees her dad sitting down with glasses on, kind of trying to read something, right? And there's just that old vibe to him and you could tell he has aged, and there's just that kind of sadness to Li Jian as she looks at her dad and how much he's aged, and the fact that he's really growing old, right? And that was a moment that really brought tears to my eyes because the character, like, you don't see it, but that's the way they show us the passage of time and how like characters have changed and grown and everything. Even the He Xiao is not immune to that, right? And it was a pleasant way of showing us that kind of bond between them and just the amazing relationship they have with one another. The same also can be said for Ling Xiao and his dad, Ling Heping, because at the end of the day, this family unit lost one of their own, right? They lost Ling Xiao's little sister, and Ling Heping is grieving as well, right? He feels bad about it, but not once, right, did he feel the need to blame Ling Xiao the way his mom seems to always do, right? His mom was very abusive about this, right? She felt like it was his fault, right? Because why give her a walnut? I mean, a kid is hungry and he gave her food, right? But regardless of what happened, his dad was always his supporter. His dad was always there for him. His dad always wanted him to be okay, right? And I really liked seeing that aspect, right? Because Ling Xiao went through a lot. He's one character that I really pity in this drama because the abuse he went through from, young age of being locked in his house, right, by his mom, right, when she went out to like play, I think he went to play mahjong or something like that, like something stupid, right, to seeing his sister die in front of him. Like I don't know how you recover from something like that, and to an extent he doesn't, right? He has to use sleeping pills because he's just like he's suffering from so much trauma, right? And in all that, I was just really glad that his dad was that concrete safe space for him. Yeah, Li Jian was his main like source of like peace and everything, but his dad was there, and his dad was kind of his backer still as well, right? His dad supported him in moments where he needed that support, right? And that was just good to see. His dad did not leave him the way his mom did, because usually it's I don't want to, this is actually quite okay, I won't say this because I wanted to say that usually it's the guy that can kind of get away with it because they are not the ones that give birth to the kids, and so they might decide, oh, I'll go, have another family or something like that. But actually, that might be a little like sexist. So I'll just say that I was really kind of taken aback by how just grounded the father was. So that aspect I also really liked. Then another aspect I really liked was again the relationship between the dads, right? There was a joke, or there's a running joke that they're like an old married couple, and they kind of were, right? Li Ping, like Ling Xiao's father, would come back from work in his like uniform, sit down with Li Jiajia's dad and start picking beans, because Li Jiajia's dad owned the restaurant, right? And so he'd start picking beans for him for the next day, and they'd argue about everything. They talk about their kids, talk about things that were troubling them, and it was just really, really, really good to see that relationship build, see them become companions in how to manage their kids and stuff like that. It was an aspect of this drama that I liked seeing those scenes, and it was little things like that that kind of made this drama stand out. But yeah, to move on to another point that I really liked about this drama, and a lot of people will disagree on this point with me because it's very difficult to see this in a good light. But I have to say, I like the relationship, or the way the relationship between He and He Zi Qiu kind of evolved, right? So He leaves her kid behind as she goes to like the city or something, right? And we see the struggle that the issue that He Zi Qiu kind of has to deal with, because of he has a lot of abandonment issues from his dad and his mom. But his mom was more poignant to him because I think she was a good mom while she was with him. No, I'm sure she was, because the bond that they obviously had was very, very good. It was to the point where it was something he could seemingly never recover from when she left, right? And the scene where really brought tears to my eyes was that scene where she's sitting in the farm with He Zi Qiu, and she gave him food to eat, just as she's leaving, and she tells him that she'll be back soon, and she leaves him with like either her mom or her hands or something like that. That scene made me really, really like sad. Props to the child actor in this, because his face too, like the child actor for He Zi Qiu was just as fantastic as the adult one. Just so well casted, this whole like cast. The way he looked, right, in that moment, that scene was so poignant and so sad that I started shedding tears. Because again, Steven Zhang has a way too of acting in this that his acting is easily the best in this drama. He kind of has more things to like act. I don't know how to explain it, but he has more scenes that he has to portray that sadness of someone that has lost his mom, or someone that has been abandoned by his mom. And there's that scene where he's on the scooter that he called his car. He just left Hermes' place, and that's the point where Hermes tells him that, don't worry, I don't need you, I have my own son now. And as he's going back home, he cries on the scooter. And oh my God, I was in tears. I was unconsolable. Like, I was crying as much as he was crying. Like, it was just so sad at that moment. And, that's just something about this drama, that relationship had so much angst to it that I personally was looking forward to their reconciliation. And I was glad for the reconciliation. And glad to know that she actually did not leave him because she did not want him. No, Emily loved her son more than anything, right? And because she knew how much stigma there would be, given that she'd committed manslaughter, she really stood back and she tried to make sure he would not grow up with having that name tacked on his back that, oh, you're a murderer's child, because that is a stigma. Ex-convicts are not considered part of society. They are like subhuman in a way. And she did not want that for her kid. And so that's why she left. And, it was good to see her put him first, although, like, again, characters don't communicate, but again, he was young, so I felt like she thought that she was doing the best for him, whereas for him, he just wanted his mom, regardless of whatever form she came in. And so that relationship and watching the relationship grow and change and go back to what it was beautiful, right? The scene where she comes with the umbrella and holds it over him as he finishes from work, again, made me cry because it was just cathartic. Like, that was the moment that they kind of fixed what went wrong in their relationship, and it just ended well, the way I would have wanted it to end, because he really deserved that. Steven Zhang's character is the character that after Ling Xiao's character also kind of makes me sad, because he has a lot of abandonment issues, right? And so I'm always thankful that Li Jian Jian exists, and same with Ling Xiao, because they are kind of there, right, to be support. And of course, his dad, the Hai Chao, found dad, found family, but his dad nonetheless. Those people are kind of there to bolster him and make him feel like he belongs. And that was just something about this drama that I really, really liked. Another aspect that I really enjoyed about this drama was that there was no unnecessary love triangle. They kind of tease a little and make you think there might be, but thankfully the way the characters are, you kind of know quickly enough that there isn't going to be a love triangle, right? So at a point, Li Jianjian and Ling Xiao kind of get together, right? But you also see the point where He Zi Qiu also considered this because his friend, the lawyer friend, tells him that, actually, this is the way to become part of the family. Get on the household register by marrying Li Jian Jian. Because that's really what He Zi Qiu is thinking. He doesn't really like Li Jian Jian. He really sees her as his like sister. And, they have that relationship between each other that seems very sibling-like, right? In the sense that Li Jian Jian is very kind of coy with Ling Xiao, right? But with He Zi Qiu, she really treats him kind of like the way she would treat her brother, right? There's a scene in the cafe where they're talking about how much of a pervert Li Jianjian's boyfriend is, and they start like rough playing, right? And that was the moment I was like, oh, these two are really siblings, right? In the way that Ling Xiao and Li Jianjian just never had that. And so I was very glad that they did not add that element of him being actually in love with her, right? He never really saw her romantically. And I don't think he would have been able to anyways, even if she had agreed, because at some point he's like, let's get married, then we can really, really be family. And she's like, no, right? But I don't think he would have been able to go through with it either, right? But that was something I liked about this drama. The way they showed He Zi Qiu's reaction to the relationship. It wasn't from a point of like, I love her as well and I want to marry her as well. There's that scene where he finds out and he goes, why doesn't anyone want me? Again, it comes back to that sense of abandonment of like Li Xiao and Li Jianjian have become kind of a unit separate from him that he cannot be part of, right? And that scares him. And that's where his fright comes from. That's where his pain comes from, right? And I really like that they portrayed it that way because that's what makes sense, right? Because that's something you can fix, right? I would have hated it if they made He Zi Qiu and Ling Xiao, who I see as brothers, fight over a girl. Like, it would have been so, like, just gross, I think, if they had to, like, fight over Li Jianjian and break down all their previous relationship and good feelings for one another over a girl. And I'm glad they didn't go that route, because it would have been so disappointing. But again, the way they went with it was the way I would have liked it to be. And at the end of the day, He Zi Qiu got his wish. Hemi married Li Chao. So at the end of the day, he got on that family register, right? So thankfully, good for him. He got what he wanted, right? And I really like that ending of having them actually become an actual family. That was just amazing, right? I had a smile on my face seeing that like last shot where they're taking the picture. It was just so good. But yeah, that was an aspect that I also really liked about this drama. One aspect I disliked, though, I would say, is even though I just talked about it, I kind of did not feel the relationship between Li Jianjian and Ling Xiao, in the sense that they did not have the chemistry that I wanted for them to be in a romantic relationship, right? It seemed to me like Ling Xiao was kind of dependent on Li Jianjian for support in a way that was even more than, say, He Zi Qiu was, right? And I think that's where I think his romantic feeling comes from, right? I mean, I'm not dismissing his like feelings regardless of how it got to be that, because he's always had that feelings for her, right? Even when they were younger. So I won't dismiss it, but I wish they had better chemistry. I don't know. The chemistry just wasn't, I wasn't feeling the chemistry. Even when they're kissing, I was like, they could have just left them as good siblings, But I guess maybe they wanted to tie the families in a way that was kind of more concrete. But I wish they didn't have to do that. That was an aspect that I was not really, I was like, well, But yeah, then another thing I will say that I liked about this drama was just all the other characters and the struggle they go through, and the way they were able to kind of get us to still root for some people, relate to some people, right? For example, Li Jian Jian's roommate that becomes a reporter, right? She has a tiger mom. Right. Again, all the moms in this drama seem like they have issues, right? And it just seems like every mom has an issue here or there. But her mom is a tiger mom, and watching her struggle with her mom, even though she loves her, she feels suffocated. Watching how she resolves that was good to see. Same with the other roommate, Tang San, who I actually resonated with more because there was something about her that was just, she was a good person, but she had a mom that was also terrible, wanted her to be, a star. So she didn't study as much and stuff like that, and then blamed after all the ordeal had ended and she could no longer make money from her. She reminds me of a lot of like Hollywood parents in that sense, that they are basic parasites, right? And she's kind of broken down her daughter's spirit to a point of no return. And that's kind of why I did not like Zhang Bei, because he also had that sense. I mean, it's okay if you like a girl, but don't take advantage of a girl that likes you, right? Tang San was very pure in that sense, and I really did not want her for him because she deserves better, honestly. He was not good for her, right? But she was another character that I liked seeing her growth as a person. Same with Li Jian Jian's colleague that had the trashy boyfriend. I love that moment where she had that bottom line where she was like, when he crosses that, then it's over. And the minute he crossed that, she ended the relationship quickly, right? So everything else she would kind of take it, whatever. And I thought she was going to be a pushover, that it would actually be Li Jian Jian that would end up separating from her friend. But I should have actually trusted Li Jian Jian. She's a good judge of character and she knows her boundaries. So she didn't have to tell her friend. Her friend also knows her own boundaries and knows what her bottom line is. And so the minute the guy crossed that, he was gone as well. So that's something I like about this drama, that a lot of characters are just so well written, right? Ling Xiao's little sister as well. She grows to be a better person. She's also someone that lacked love. She's a mini He Zi Qiu in that sense, that she lacked love, and just having people give her that changed her into a different person. I would have liked her to just remain with Ling Xiao and Li Jian Jian and He Zi Qiu, because she would have been better there than to go back with her mom, because her mom is just abused. Like, her mom is a terrible human being, right? I don't care that they try to redeem her at the end. For all the past things she's done already, she's terrible person, right? So in that sense, I mean, she grew as a person, but I've liked her away from the abuser who is Ling Xiao's mom, right? She wasn't as mean to her daughter, but again, just a terrible person to be around, because she's just needy. Like, she thinks of herself as a victim, that everybody owes her or something, right? So that was another aspect I like about the drama. Just all the characters were just so well written. Nobody falls short, right? And so yeah, that's really it about this drama. It's a really, really good drama. I really liked it, and I really recommend it to anyone that's not seen it. If you haven't seen it yet, why? Why haven't you watched this? You have to watch this at least once. Watch this drama once, and if you never watch it again, that's fine. But it's a drama that is very hard to dislike, right? So yeah, that's been my review of Go Ahead. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.